Hey there, it's Rusty Nelson, your college art professor, the old Rusty professor, and it is week 12 up at the university, so things are really swinging through the semester pretty quick. This is my next to last semester before I retire, and if you're a new viewer, this is me coming in every week for about 15 minutes just talking and learning the craft of being a content creator as best I can on my own, watching videos on YouTube as to how to do this, and about half of the damn suggestions I'm not taking. That sounds about right. That's about how my students work with me up at the university. So they're like, oh yeah, I'll do maybe a third of what he tells us to do. So anyway, that's where we're at, and that's what I'm doing on this channel is I'm bringing the lessons that I teach in some of my design classes and my drawing classes, my watercolor class, my illustration class. I'm bringing them to YouTube, doing some of the tutorials and demos and the things I want students to work with and get good at as a freshman and as they progress through their upper level studio courses and design. Our design courses are definitely still considered a studio course. They typically are in most universities. So they get into those upper level classes and they can take all these skills and lessons and demos and put it into their work. Hopefully synthesize all that information we've shown them and then start doing some pretty cool things with the skills that they're developing. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm putting this stuff out onto the channel for free. So come on in. If you're new to the channel, that's what we're doing. Go noodle through some of the tutorials I've been doing. I've been doing this for almost 2 complete years. So in 1st of January, I'll start my 3rd year on YouTube and made progress. I've made some technical improvements and things. Started out with just an iPhone and an iPad, and I've had some pretty good videos that have popped off, and I'm monetized, so I'm making some money and able to invest some money back in and get some better equipment. So that's starting to happen. That's kind of exciting, and I've done various things. I've been trying to get most of my 2025 goals accomplished, and it's November now, and I still got a couple. And I've been promising the live stream, and I think I've got to get that started and at least do some test streams. And I'm thinking I might do that sometime this week. So if anything pops up in YouTube and with an alert on what I'm doing, that might be what I'm doing. I'm doing a live stream. I'm going to just throw it out there, test it out, see how it works. So there's that. I've been gathering emails from people who have been downloading stuff from my website. So that's kind of cool. So I'm building a little database of names. So if I ever do any kind of a promotion for something, you'll be the first to get the emails. But I haven't sent anything out. I have definitely not been spamming you. So, but yeah, week 12. That's just crazy how fast a semester goes by, and I'll be in my last semester very soon, and it's going to be pretty bittersweet and moving on from 28 years in higher education. But I definitely am glad I started this channel that will allow me to continue what I really do love doing, is teaching and showing students how to do various things. So that's what YouTube is going to provide to me, is a creative outlet for my teaching as well as what I'm doing visually in watercolor with drawing, figure drawing faces, digital painting. I'm really into 3D modeling using open source software called Blender. That's pretty cool. I'd like to look into some game engine design stuff, the Unity or Unreal Engine, which is just amazing stuff. Not to mention all the crazy AI stuff that's starting to come online too. So anyway, I've got a lot of irons in the fire right now. It's calming that down a little bit. I have a little more breathing room with what I can get accomplished during the week right now. I'm still traveling back and forth to Kansas to kind of manage some of the projects that are underway, both with family things and then our living situation that will soon be coming to fruition. So anyway, what have I been doing? I posted a couple. I posted that scarecrow video 2 weeks ago. That was kind of a Halloween oriented theme, and then I did a skull on Friday. I did a Friday post rather than a Saturday post of a a skull, very colorful skull, toothless skull. So it's out there on YouTube and live, and you can go out and watch it. I have several videos in the can. I've got like a little seed pod still life. I've done a sunflower, so that's coming up. Just got to get those edited and posted. I want to get a couple more. I've got half of a drawing class session recorded. I just need to do the extended pose right now and then splice that in. So I've done the extended pose a couple of times, and I just haven't been happy with it. So, and again, that just goes to show you've got to do these things a lot and practice a lot. And I know when I teach a live session figure drawing class, you know, those extended poses, man, for me, they're hit or miss, especially with a live model. So sometimes I'm in the zone. There's days you can just do no wrong, and then others you just are driving the struggle bus quite a ways in trying to get something. That's where I'm at with this one. So I did essentially a whole class session, and it's a long video. That's another thing. I've been doing a lot of long videos, and they don't perform that well on YouTube, but I just needed to do some longer duration videos just for my own creative expression and do something better than what I'm currently struggling with, trying to get really nice, cool looking things done within a 30-40 minute window. So for me, most of my really good watercolors, you know, they're normally about 11 by 14, 16 by 20 in that size, you know, that size range. And I normally take anywhere from 2 to 3 hours to do them, where I walk through the 3 stages and the 4 states of watercolor, just using all those things, and then all the detail, the fussy work that takes so much time at the back end. So that last 10% seems to take about 40% of the time in putting it together. And that's what I've noticed in my tutorials. So I'm just spending a little more time just for my own mental creative health to do some better looking things. And that's what the sunflower is. It's going to be a long one. The figure drawing class is a pretty long tutorial as well, because I'm starting out warming up, just basic mark making, and then we move into the mannequins, do some warm up mannequins, and then we move to some 1 minute, 3 minute extended poses, and then it's the big 40-minute, 50-minute extended pose that I'm also going to get it drawn on a piece of paper and then watercolor it as well. So, and we do that as well in the figure drawing. Not only do we do the dry media stuff, the graphite, the charcoal, but I also have a watercolor unit inside figure drawing, so students learn how to really kind of block in some nice colors onto a fairly well rendered drawing. So it's a nice way of using and introducing water or color into a drawing that you've spent a lot of time on and observed and got everything drawn properly. So that's what and that one's almost an hour and 50-minute long. So that's a long one. So I'm not holding my breath for a lot of views on that. So, and if you are watching those things, I've heard people say that they go in there and they'll speed them up, and I've heard people say they like hearing me discuss my decision making process as I'm going through it. I kind of like that too. It kind of relates more to, instead of so much about entertainment or so much about how, wow, look at what Rusty can do. It's more about how did Rusty go about the processes and the thought processes to get to that end result. So, and sometimes it's a struggle, you know, so don't feel bad that it doesn't just happen. There are times when, boom, all of a sudden you've done everything right. You didn't have to struggle around with anything, and it just looks great. And other times you really have to maybe do it. You know, it looks like crap. You say, I can do better than that. I'm going to do it again. And that's one of the best things you can do is to, and I think I told this little tip last week, is to do anything and do it often. That's the biggest part, is practice what you're learning. And it's like any other skill. You got to put in the reps to get a firm understanding on what you're doing. And then get in there and do it again. If it needs to be done again, you know you can do it better. You learn something on that first one, go back in, do it again. You know, maybe you make some slight changes as to your approach. And that's exactly what I did with the sunflower video that's going to be coming out. I've done it I think I did it 3 times, and I wasn't happy with the end result on any of them, which is then also what led me to say, okay, screw it. I'm going to get the good paper out, got a nice pan of watercolors out, and I took my time and really made some different assumptions as to what I was going to do. I think I was doing things that were looking too cliche-ish, so I went and found a more interesting shape on the sunflower and then drew it by hand. Again, I'm not worried about photorealism. I'm using the reference really as just kind of a jumping off point. As long as I can create something that looks good, it doesn't have to match the photograph identically. So I think a lot of times you see that kind of an ability praised a lot on social media, that people are able to mimic a photograph so tightly that you can't tell the difference, and that is pretty cool. And I used to be kind of enraptured with that as well, but I think there's a lot more creative expression that you can do with an image if you start divorcing yourself from that notion it has to look identical to the photograph. And then you can really start, it's like jazz. You can go in there and really start riffing on the bass melody of the song, and same with the image. You can take it and then really start doing some visual riffs and some wild color combinations and things like that, different effects that the wet on wet can do with the colors and all that. So get in there and experiment and play around with it. I think you'll have a lot more fun. It's going to relieve the pressure or the self-incrimination on yourself that you can't match it identically to the photograph. But there's all sorts of techniques and processes that you can use and employ. If you can't draw it absolutely photographically realistically just through observation, I mean, there's all sorts of things you can do. You can grid it out very, with maybe half-inch, quarter-inch grids on the photograph, and then scale it up to a bigger grid on a piece of paper and draw it out that way. Very time consuming. Or you can have like a projector of some sort. Like I said, I have like a 40-year-old DB300 Artograph that I can throw an image in the back, a photograph, a printout in the back of it, and project it onto a piece of paper and just simply do a tracing. So I actually will use that if I have to do a realistic a portrait that really captures the likeness. That's my hack for getting the likeness, and then tracing the likeness onto the piece of paper, and then I do all the modeling and the color work on top of that. So there's all sorts of hacks, and as a graphic designer, I wasn't above doing that kind of thing. You have to do stuff that gets the job done accurately and to the intent that is needed, without worrying about whether I did it, straight from observation and things like that. So yeah, if you can't do it, use a hack. Depends on what you're really wanting to focus on. So do that, and I think you'll make a lot of progress and reduce your stress levels quite a bit if that's what you're getting into creating artwork for and getting started on this creative journey. So anyway, I've been yakking for almost 15 minutes, so it's time to land this plane, and I'll see you guys next week talking watercolor again. But remember to go over my video description. I got all sorts of good free links and downloads on my website, so get over there and download that stuff. It's figure drawing stuff, drawing faces, hands and faces, figure drawing for all it's worth. I got some Riley method stuff that I've done, put out there. Bridgman method, that's out there. So there's all sorts of ways of going about drawing the figure, drawing faces. I have a bunch of affiliate links in the video description as well. I do have those 2 digital products that I've just recently created, 15-week beginner to intermediate, both a calendar and kind of a syllabus out there. So if you're interested in that, getting a little more of a structural set of assignments and goals and objectives and things like that for what you're doing, it's the stuff I really work my students through the course of the semester to get them up to speed and up and running and understanding what they can do and things they need to practice on. And also, if you think I'm doing anything on this channel that's worth any kind of a support monetarily, get over to my Patreon channel and give me a $5 a month membership. And hopefully, if I hit my goal soon, there's going to be a live stream that's associated with that membership too. So you'll get to see the live stream before I make it live on YouTube for everybody else. So that would be one perk and benefit other than the free videos that I typically do. So hey, I hope to see you next week talking watercolor, and thanks for watching and thanks for the support. We'll see you then.